How to have a good relationship? Good question. We know that at least 1 in 4 women and 1 in 7 men experience an abusive relationship in their lifetimes. And this series of videos is designed to help you to make sure you're not one of them. Today is part 4, and we're going to look at those early days when you first move in together after having made that commitment. Please don't forget to press that like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. And please do stick around to the end. I'm going to give you some warning signs that maybe things aren't going quite the way you hoped they would after you've made that commitment. Some things that you need to know to make sure that if you decide to stay in this relationship long term, you're with the right person. After we've made it through those dating days, when we have got to know that person a little bit and we feel safe in our knowledge that our new partner is not going to hurt us, is going to be supportive, is going to enrich our lives, then we're ready for the next step. And we start having those discussions about moving in together. And these days can be wonderful. The knowing that you can go off and explore the world and you've got somewhere safe to come back to. It's a time when we practice listening to each other, beginning to understand the best ways to communicate so that you have a positive outcome for both of you. That negotiation, that cooperation rather than competition. A really lovely time in our lives. The excitement and the discovery is at its maximum at this point. And for this part to be really successful, there are 3 things that both of you need to be bringing to the relationship. Remembering the 50-50. We both bring something to the relationship. The first one is about the availability and the rules. Nobody, as human beings, can be available to their partner all the time. We all have times in our lives where we are distracted, we've got something on our minds, our workload's gone up. And so it's about negotiating what to do when you get to those times. And knowing that it's okay to say, look, I really want to hear what you're saying, but can we just do this in half an hour? Or can we just do this once I've got this out of the way? It's also okay to ask, I need to talk to you, when's a good time for you? Because by this time you already know that that person is struggling in some way, and right now is probably not the best time to get their attention. The other thing around that is about when to have those conversations. And quite often, and I have to confess I've been guilty of this, when I've been emotionally upset about something, I've wanted it dealt with then. Now is the time I need to get this sorted because I can't cope with these emotions. That's not a good time to get an outcome that is satisfying for both of you, because your mindset, my mindset at those times was already, I need to get what I need from this. So it's much better to wait until you've both cooled down, you're both in a place where you can think clearly, and then you can talk to each other rationally and listen and understand the other person's perspective, even if you don't agree. But there is a much better chance that you will be able to reach a mutually acceptable agreement if you do it when you're not in that highly emotional state. The next thing is really important is that you hold on to that level of curiosity and interest in each other. When we first start dating, we want to know everything about this potential partner, including their history, if you've seen earlier videos. But this doesn't go away. Throughout our lives together, we need to be fully interested in what their experience is and what is going on for them, for 2 reasons really. One, we need to know what their emotional state is. Do they need support from us right now? Are they able to offer us support right now? But also because it is by that mutual interest and curiosity about each other that that bond is strengthened over time. That desire, that interest, that curiosity brings 2 people together. And it makes trust easier because you know the other person knows you and you can know them. So this is a really fundamental part of our relationship. Stay curious, stay interested, genuinely. The last thing is about that reciprocity, that both of you are engaged in the development and the maintenance of the relationship. 50-50, both of you do your bit. Because without that, you'll find that one person may feel that they are putting all the work into the relationship, while the other one is just off being them, living their lives. And there's that desire that comes with that to make the other person's life better. And obviously, if you've got two people, both of whom are trying to make the other one's life better, both lives improve. It's also about bringing your problems, not feeling that you are being silly or ridiculous in this. And good relationships take a bit of courage. You have to take that risk that I'm going to tell you this thing that is causing me distress, even though I'm concerned that you might dismiss it. Never dismiss your partner's distress. The thing is, they're distressed, not the reason. But it's about both of you being able to do that, both of you being able to bring those worries, and both of you being able to offer understanding and support when necessary. Listening, not necessarily about solutions. I think most people know what the answer is. They just need somebody to listen to them so that they can make their minds up themselves. But most of all, we have to remember that we're all human beings and we all mess up sometimes. Sometimes we are not as available as we would like to be. Sometimes we say the wrong thing or we do the wrong thing. And in a healthy relationship, one of the most important things is that you can apologize when you get it wrong. Acknowledge, I was really clumsy there. I didn't mean it that way. I'm sorry. Tell me more. So this is a time for negotiating boundaries, improving communication, deepening our understanding and our curiosity for each other, and working out ways that we can come together so that we have a cooperation, a cooperative relationship rather than a competitive one. Because if you're in competition, you have a winner and a loser. That is not a good template for a long-lasting relationship. So let's look at some of the warning signs that maybe things aren't going as well as you want, or the future may not be quite as rosy as you anticipate. And the first thing to look at is step one, which is about the introduction of emotional abuse. Now, emotional abuse is sometimes described as, in fact, emotional, psychological, and verbal abuse is sometimes described as death by a thousand cuts. And this is just behaviours that you will experience from your partner that make you feel a little bit less. So they may hurt your feelings. They may cause feelings of panic or distress. They may cause self-doubt. Anything that makes you feel your day is worse. And this is the first step in a relationship with somebody who is likely to be an abuser. So we'll start with emotional abuse. And the most common way that emotional abuse is first experienced is when somebody goes from love bombing you. You are the most amazing thing ever. I absolutely adore you. I can't imagine living without you. You are the person I've been waiting for. I've never met anybody like you before. All these wonderful feelings that make you feel amazing, like you are really, really special and this person adores you. And then all of a sudden they just cut off that emotion, and you may get that they're sulking, or they just won't speak to you, they're giving you the cold shoulder, all those things that just leave you feeling confused and upset and hurt and self-doubting. Because quite often for people experiencing this level of abuse, what we tend to do is turn it in on ourselves, and we will ask ourselves the question, okay, yesterday I felt like I was the most amazing, important person to them. I felt as though I was their soulmate. They told me I was their soulmate, and today, nothing. They won't even look at me. What have I done wrong? What have I done today that could have upset them this much that they've turned away from me? And then we begin to look at our own behaviour rather than theirs. And we begin to look at ways that we can adjust our behaviour to meet their needs and get that love bombing back. The thing to remember here is that you haven't done anything wrong. You are the same person you were before. It's them who's changed their behaviour. So there is nothing in a loving relationship that you could do or say which would get them to take their love away from you. What this shows is that that person was using love bombing as a way of getting you, getting that commitment from you, and to adjust the way you behave to meet their needs. They're not actually worried at this point that you're distressed or upset or that you are desperate to know what was wrong. They've got you. You've got that emotional state. And if you are desperately trying to find out how to put it right, you're looking in the wrong direction, because they're the ones who need to put it right. So at this time, their 50%, consciously or unconsciously. I don't believe that, all abuse is a conscious, deliberate act. But even if it's unconscious, what they're trying to do at that point is control you. So their 50% is to get domination over you, to get you to behave in certain ways. And your 50% at this point is to blame yourself for their behavior and to diminish and change yourself. That's not healthy. And if you are in that position, I would seriously consider getting some help to understand that it's not your fault. Because if you live with that for long enough, you will be much, much more vulnerable to the abuse that comes later. And that is a very dangerous, very miserable path. If this is successful and you have changed your behavior and you have accepted their response to whatever it was, then the next stage they may move on to will be the psychological abuse. And I'll look at that in the next video. So I really hope you join us, because this adds on and diminishes you even further. So I hope you found today's video helpful, and beg that any of you who've been distressed by any of this content, please do seek support from a local agency. That's all for today. Please do press the like button, subscribe to my channel, and if you do have any experience of being with somebody who made you feel amazing and then suddenly would just withdraw from the relationship, perhaps you could put in the comments section below what that felt for you and how you managed to get away from that. I hope you found this video helpful, and please do share with anybody who you think it may be relevant for. Until next time, please do keep yourself safe.